And that is why they call it an ass margarita. What's going on, everybody? This is the Cover Band Confidential Podcast, the podcast for cover band musicians and band leaders to learn how to rock more and suck less. Here in Atlanta, Georgia, I am Adam Johnson.
Here in Greensboro, North Carolina, I am Dan Ray.
And because everything... Oh, wait. How about wait your turn? Because things are like super ass annoying in the world, we figured we'd bring in an equally annoying voice all the way from Cedar Rapids, from the Peasy Torneesies, Mike Schulte, ladies and gentlemen, in the house.
Just to let everybody know, Adam is literally like, woo, shot out of a cannon. So you're not going to want to miss this episode.
It is
he
true.
Is mean today.
I don't know what's going on.
That's the thing. Nobody gets to see the fun stuff where we're like, just, the back channel is where all the magic is happening, really. You guys are seeing, the machinations of that kind of happening in, after the fact. But all the good stuff is happening before we ever press any buttons.
It's really true.
So here we are. I got to say, Dan, triple heads up situation looks very nice.
Seems to be happening. I got a little glowy background happening behind us. And
the bouquet is where it's at, man.
It's fancy. We're fancy.
So how's everybody doing so far this week? Let's start with Mike, and then we'll just work our way across.
There you go.
How you doing, man?
I'm okay. I'm like, 2020 will be forever known as the year that I'm just depressed about everything and anything. And I just can't, I'll pull myself out of a hole. I'm like, life's good. And then I'll just fall so deep into it that, this is the year where I realize that I'm not always a happy person. And like, I got shit to deal with,
Yeah.
Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you, Dan?
Well, same. With the exception that how when you do heroin, and then
go on,
like deer in the headlights eyes from both of you. It was great.
I was like, yes.
And then like 3 months goes by, and then you get another fix. That's me today because I actually gigged last night.
You gigged, you son of a bitch.
I know. And it was, I don't know if now's the time to get into it. We should definitely talk about it in this episode, but it was glorious and weird.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what there is to say. Yeah.
I think we can unpack that.
Yeah. I got some more to say about it.
So this has been a bit of a week.
It has been a week.
And it has. And so, all the things we've said we weren't going to talk about, we're going to go ahead and talk about things that are typically off limits because there's just kind of no way around it. So we're giving ourselves how many minutes? We're going to rap horn it. What do you want to do?
Can we do it in 5?
I think 5 is a good number.
All right.
Maybe like 6.
Okay. So timer going.
Hang on. It's been so long. I'm getting the reinstalling. I haven't used it since we were last together. So
yeah,
unable to install horn. All right, so we're gonna have it until I can get a new rap horn down from the Apple Store. That's how long we get.
I'll tell you,
rap horn.
We
All
right, you got this. Adam's got this.
I got a 5-minute timer.
All right,
ready?
Here we go.
On
Here we
your
go.
mark, set, go.
All right, good.
So things are kind of tumultuous, and as 3 middle-aged, upper-class white dudes.
We have nothing to say about that. This is the thing. Like Adam and I were like, does the world need our commentary on this? No.
In particular,
no, it does not.
Really.
It does not.
But I will say this is...
Sorry, pardon me. That was a mistake on my part. That was attached to the OBS setting. Sorry. You were saying.
So we're not necessarily the right people to kind of be talking about this, but a lot of people have decided to kind of like insert themselves into the situation for good and for bad. And, Mike, we were talking earlier this week, and you just kind of like raised a really important question that I think we haven't really talked about. Do you want to chime in there real quick?
Recall me what that was. I ask you guys a lot of questions.
So, we talked about when, you shouldn't talk about politics, but when
you should, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think we've talked about this before, that our bands, our cover bands, are not a place to pick polarizing subjects and discuss them. Like that is the wrong place. And if you have someone in your band who is this like very polarizing figure might not be the right person for your band. This is not the time.
Yeah.
Never the time. But then there comes things like where I really felt so strongly about what's going on is like there's politics and there's religion, but then there's human rights. There's just normal things that like, how do we not get this right? And that's when I never talk about things on my Facebook page, but I really did feel the need to say something because I just like, how are we still dealing with shit like this? Sorry to say shit. Shit.
Okay. It is. It very much is.
Yeah.
You know, I went black. I blacked out on. I didn't black out, but I did go dark on Tuesday.
I went dark and then blacked out.
Yeah. But I didn't put anything on any of my band or company pages. I just didn't post. And they didn't post and I didn't post, and it was just, that was what it was. That felt like the right thing to do in the moment. I don't know if that was the right move, but it felt like what I should have done. Because like you had said, cover bands are not political entities. We are basically customer service
distractions
people. So it doesn't reflect on my personal feelings about the situation, and I very much champion everything that is going on right now that is for positivity and human rights and equal rights for everybody and accountability for those in power. So I'm 100% on board with that. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people got this right, and we're talking a lot about people who didn't or got it straight up wrong.
Yeah. You know, before you came on, Mike and I were talking about there's a tattoo shop in town that a year ago had a guy who apparently was who you went to for your white nationalist tattoos. Mm-hmm. And the shop didn't do anything about him, and it was a whole thing. And they put out a statement today, we stand with, da-da-da. And like the pile-on of like, okay, I mean, you say that, but guys. So it can backfire if you don't deal with it properly. And those guys, there's a fly buzzing around me here. Those guys did not. And
Well, I got really caught up in this and like how we are figures and we do need to say something because this is human rights. Like but we had a big band talk, and the main thing that we came down with was, number one, we're a party band. Like people, it's a distraction. I don't want to hear my favorite restaurant like say something about this. I want to go to the restaurant as a distraction from life. But also, we discussed how no matter what you say, it just creates more hatred and a breeding ground for stuff to happen. Are you really doing good to like then create more hate by everybody arguing and your fan base arguing? And there's literally no right answer to this.
It's a total no-win situation.
But there have been, weren't you telling me some other people have said things and then just got like musician type people have gotten piled on lately?
Yeah, it wasn't even that. Like, I think people just like said vile, terrible things. There's this drummer, I think Hillary Jones is her name, who went on a literal white supremacy tirade.
It was astonishing. It really was astonishing.
Wow.
Sometimes we see stuff and it's like, somebody says racist thing and you're like, well, let's see what that's actually about. And then I actually like clicked the link and read what she said. And I was like,
well, this was literally like, actually go back to Africa. Like it was
literal.
It was actually
white supremacy.
Like, wow.
So needless to say, she lost all of her endorsements, and that's not good. Mike Fuller from Fulltone kind of stepped in it, talking about the rioters and things like that, and got kind of called out, I think rightfully so. And his apology was kind of interesting because I think he kind of like delved into like the psychology behind. He was like, I think I'm afraid because I'm like old and I own things and I'm worried about things being taken from me. Like it was interesting, but not necessarily like good or didn't feel genuine. I think he was just kind of like processing it like on paper.
I'm in favor of introspection at this time. That's probably the best thing we can do, right?
But he sent a series of really terrible emails to people who were like upset at what he said. They were literally like, "I will break into your house and steal your Fulltones if I find that you have them," kind of thing. Like, not great.
Not great,
not good, not good at all. And then there are other things. There are other companies like Paul Reed Smith and as of kind of recently, as we were talking about the Sweetwater, that kind of got piled on in ways I don't think was entirely fair. And this stuff is just going to have to shake itself out.
Yeah.
Whether this is just, either virtue signaling or call out culture, like, I don't know how all of this shakes out in the end. I don't particularly think I don't think of those two companies, I don't think anybody handled it improperly, but there's some stuff they may have to answer to at some point. But I think us as individuals have absolutely every right to talk about things that we think are important and should stand up for things that we believe in.
Sure.
And if you feel like your band is not a good place or a good avenue to do that, I don't think that's problematic. If you disagree, please, please let us know. I'd love to kind of open up that conversation.
And to be sure, listen, the other thing is, political is a valid brand. Totally valid. No, totally valid.
I will say this: there's a band that follows us on Instagram that has been posting things about this whole situation that I think have been super positive, and they've gotten positive responses. Like, it's not on the level as their normal engagement. So I think some people may just be like, okay, whatever. But they are taking a stand, and it doesn't seem to be, they're not getting any negative attention from it.
Okay.
So I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. They decided to, to take a stand, and more power to them. And, hopefully it works for them in the future.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Good.
And we're
Hey, be a good person. That's end of conversation. How is this so hard?
Bottom line.
Be a good person.
Yeah. Yeah, and if I have to explain to you that other people are people, then I don't know what to do with you.
Conversation over. Yeah. We're done.
For sure. We're in Atlanta. Like, there's protests going on literally like less than a mile from my house.
Me too.
And go for it.
Yeah, God bless.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Distraction.
All right, so let's go out to this. So what's everybody drinking tonight?
Oh, I have a Boulevard Brewing Phantom Haze Double IPA working, and it's quite tasty. It's very fruity and delicious.
So a hazy double.
It's a it's a double IPA.
Hazy, but it's like it hits you pretty hard.
Well, it's a double. I mean, it's let me see if I can find the ABV here.
No, it's got to be on there.
By law, right? 7.5%, which is not strong as double IPAs go, but which is a good thing because I'm podcasting tonight.
I got the old. There's a company in Des Moines, Iowa called Exile, and they are like, they kill the sour game. Sour game's where they're at. So I got Beatnik Sour.
Sweet,
nice.
One of the best sours and one of the most original, like one of the first sours you've ever had.
Awesome,
it's amazing,
awesome.
So I'm drinking water because we had Mexican, so I had a very nice margarita. The thing that I'm kind of into right now, and it's kind of working because members only can't play, is that there are a lot of like retro themed craft beers. And so I've been kind of trying those out. One I posted today was from Pontoon Brewing. They had one called the New Wave, like ultra rad white ale that was really good. Before that, there was a 1985 IPA that was like amazing. So if your local brewery does some kind of like throwback style, like fun can artwork beer, shoot it my way, because I'm definitely in the market looking it up.
Are your breweries delivering where you are?
No, they're not. I don't think. I think that's illegal.
Oh,
but they have relaxed a lot of laws. So like, I walked into this restaurant, got 2 margaritas, no tops, got in my car and drove home.
Wow.
I did that yesterday and actually was like, it's like a quick sip,
just
on the way home. Just a quick sip.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Quality control.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, well, our breweries here are actually doing home delivery, and it's the best. It's the best. And I've been playing at Odin Brewing. Those of you who listened to the podcast for a long time have heard me talk about that.
Did they get any money yet? Because this is like, I mean, you love talking about Odin Brewing.
I love these guys. I love these guys. I will tell you. And owner and his wife came by my house on their bikes the other night, and I was out in the yard messing around with stuff in the yard, and I was like, it's my Odins. Oh my God, it was Jan and Bob Odin came by on their bikes, and we chatted.
Bob Odenkirk?
That's what I was going to say.
I have not made that connection, but
now
I can't not. Wow. Yeah. Anyway, they've been delivering. They brought me a 24-pack of their IPAs today.
There's a couple of spots by me that I could walk to, like that are doing growlers and stuff, and I'd forgotten that growlers were even a thing.
Fully a thing.
Yeah, like 7 to 10 years ago, like growlers were like life, and now no one does them. But a place by me has you can do growlers, so I've been hitting them up.
Awesome.
What is up, Matt? What is up, Becky? Becky Finch is the vocalist for a band in the Atlanta area called Denim Arcade. Not competition, even though they are an Atlanta-based 80s band, but very appreciative for you guys tuning in.
Co-opetition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a part of the tide that rises the ships.
There you go.
That's all.
There you go.
That's all.
Hey, I got a question for you. Have you done anything yet in the last couple of weeks? Now that we're like COVID-19 is not a thing anymore.
Yeah, it's over.
We're coming out of this, but have you done anything that like surprised you where you're like, oh my God, I kissed a guy on the mouth at the Mexican restaurant yesterday. Like, have you done anything like that? I'm not saying I did. I'm saying, have you done anything that surprised
I haven't kissed any more men at Mexican restaurants than I normally
Just
do.
the baseline.
Yeah. I mean,
the usual number.
You know, we've been doing, we finally got together with like my extended family, and my extended family, like my brothers and sisters and spouses and kids, they're all local. So it was like 15 people.
Yeah.
That's kind of a big thing. I will say this. My entire existence in our house right now is completely reliant on our next door neighbors who are married couple with kids roughly our age, who have just been an absolute godsend because we're just kind of all in it together. So like sometimes our kids are over at their house and sometimes their kids are over at our house. And it's just kind of like, it's been like the greatest setup for a situation like this. But like, other than that, like if I'm going out, I'm wearing a mask and I don't care. Right. You know, a lot of people aren't. I'll be the one person in a spot with a mask.
I kind of like being the one person.
Me too.
I kind of like wearing a mask, to be perfectly honest. You can just kind of like
introvert rules.
I was at the grocery store and there was like one of my neighbors who I'm not like super stoked on, and I walked right by him.
Didn't recognize you.
They had no idea it was me.
Wearing a mask.
I had a hat on and a mask.
Beautiful. I believe that's Batman's move too.
80 no, I don't think it was. You know, like they just don't know your fame anymore. You know.
Yeah.
No big deal.
You know, that might change. You know, now that I'm a YouTube sensation.
You
like
are.
You are.
I was going to start this episode with, and that's why I believe in a thing called love.
So yeah, the video came out, and we kind of simulcasted it on our channel and Casey's channel, Casey Cooper, better known as Cooper Drummer.
Yep.
2.49 million. I was a little
to be precise.
It's okay.
Yeah. I was talking it up.
It's all right.
Decent.
I said 2.7. Right. I was wrong. It was 2.49.
Did he correct you?
No, he didn't correct me. I just said it wrong.
Figured it out on your own.
Kept saying it wrong.
Yeah. Well.
So it went live on Saturday, which was his idea. This is kind of another thing that's kind of interesting, is that like you kind of learn about how things work better from somebody who actually knows what's going on. Yeah. He was like, you know, for him, he's got this crazy like international following. So he's like, I'm going to do it on noon on Saturday so I can catch that side of the world.
We're thinking our time zone only. Right. And he's thinking, what countries do I hit the best?
Seriously, he's global. And we're like, how's it going in Greensboro?
And the funny thing is that it has been like, if you look at the comments, they're all like from India and
cool.
like Thailand and kind of Eastern Asian countries, and then, you know, other stuff. But as of this morning, that video has topped 10,000 views.
On his page or
on his page.
Okay.
Our video count is slightly lower at around 300.
Still.
Can I rant about YouTube a little bit? Like,
go for
the most fickle. There is no rules. It is the Wild West, and it's. I think I told you that story in the first time we talked about how when we did that Tennessee whiskey video, I was so adamant to just put it on Facebook because it's instant gratification. Everybody sees it. But man, like, how do you get popular on YouTube? there's no blueprint. It just happens.
Yep.
Somehow your video gets found.
Yeah.
Somebody just Whiskey Riff is a website with a million subscribers, just randomly shared, you should see this Tennessee whiskey cover from this rock band. And boom, like I knew something was up. All of a sudden, like subscribers and views were just through the roof. I'm like, what is happening? And all of a sudden you find it, you go, oh, that's what's happening. I mean, it's unbelievable how it's the same video and his can just go through the roof and yours just kind of sits there.
Well, I mean, he had a distribution channel.
Correct.
And for us, you know, it definitely boosted our subscribers. You know, we crossed 100, which was great. That, you know, everybody says the first 100 are, you know, are the hardest to get. The next kind of like goal or like kind of touch point or like escalation point is hitting 1,000, because 1,000 gives you it opens you up to monetization.
Correct.
And then, you know, it kind of goes up from there. I don't know what to do with it. You know, I've definitely got some ideas for some stuff I want to do, and it looks like covers are going to be a good way to kind of draw attention to the site. But like my main goal for this is to turn people on to what this is, to this particular part.
Correct. Yeah. This is what you're driving everybody towards.
This is the Trojan horse as far as
I found you guys. You liked on Instagram, you added us and said, oh yeah, I liked a bunch of photos. And I go, what, Cover Band Confidential? And I click on it, I go, oh hell yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah.
That was me.
That's how it works.
Yep. And I'm kind of doing that now. You know, the way that you kind of look at these things is that, you know, okay, you caught lightning in a bottle. So I got it featured on this cover video that's getting some juice. So what do you do with that? Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm liking all the posts and commenting. If someone's like, hey, that singer was great, I'll come back and I'll leave a comment that says, hey, thanks for that alternate version on our channel. Come check it out. Going back on their social media posts, so Casey's and Cooper Carter's, and liking and following all the people that commented there, and kind of like going through and liking posts and that kind of thing. So you have to kind of like, you're basically kind of pulling focus. You have to actively go out and get people. You know, some accounts are lucky and like people just come to them. I'm doing the exact opposite. I'm hunting people down. Yep. I'm, you know, that's how I found you, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, I wasn't going like, these guys look right up my alley. I was just like, I think they had a hashtag cover band and I followed hashtag cover band. So
it's totally shotgun approach, right? It's like totally like, it's a numbers game.
Yeah. I bet you a lot of people have ended up here because of that. And that's like, that's why people that hustle on any form of social media will always continue to advance. Like you've been like thinking of different ways to put out the video clips. I mean, that is literally, you can't ever get complacent in this social media world where you go, we did it. We figured it out. If we make this cool poster, we're good. No.
Yeah.
What's next? It's done. That poster's gone now. What are you going to do next?
Yeah. Nathan Smith tuning in. Nathan is a crazy talented guitar player and singer. Better at everything than I am by a lot. And
but who's counting?
He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nathan, for tuning in. Glad you are here. So
listen,
go ahead, Dan, because I still asked the question, you guys, what you did in the COVID, is if that was what you're going to answer.
It was.
Okay.
It was. I did one really weird thing last night, and that was that I played a gig.
That is the ultimate, I would have to say.
Weird.
I couldn't do it right now. It feels weird.
It felt weird. And it was at a restaurant that they do music there every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday night. And in 5 years of playing this town, I've not managed to penetrate their booking there, and it's been brutal. I really wanted to. Some of my favorite places acts have played there, and I really, really wanted to. And it's in the hands of this one woman who guards her stage tightly.
She's your white whale.
Well, yeah. And then my acoustic duo partner waits tables there and can just talk to her, and that changes the whole dynamic. So we booked there with the acoustic duo on a Wednesday night, which is when they do sort of acoustic-y stuff. 7-8 months ago, long before anything COVID-y was starting to happen, and then of course that it did, and we assumed everything was shut down forever. And then they opened up North Carolina restaurants to 50% capacity. 3 weeks ago, something like that. and she wanted us to play. And I took a while to get to where I was comfortable and thinking about it and working through how I would do that. I ordered from Sweetwater a mic stand and a mic cable for my partner. I had them shipped to her. They're hers now, right? Anything within spitting distance of her as she sings, like she's holding that. I'm not taking it home with me. So she showed up with all that and set it all up, and we stood a good long distance apart. And the first nearest tables were a good long distance away, and we were outside on the patio. It was a good breeze, fans on us. It was hot as blazes, and I'd forgotten all about that. That was part of the thing, was how much I'd forgotten about. I can feel the atrophy in my vocal cords. I can feel that I don't have the stamina in my voice that I used to have. My calluses are killing me this morning, killing me. Because I haven't played for 3 hours straight for 3 months, right? And by the end of the night, I wasn't looking because I was pretty sure my fingers were bleeding. They weren't, but it felt like they were. Yeah. And so it's just amazing how much just physically standing there doing it. I was just not in the game I was 3 months ago. Just was didn't have the physical chops of it.
How did it feel though? The overall moment.
It was amazing. It was amazing. And those moments where something happens in the crowd and you pop some response to it and have some connection. People laugh and
yeah.
Oh,
you're like, I'm in it.
Oh my God. It really was it was like getting your first fix after 3 months of being clean. It was
was like
that. It was really
leaving rehab.
Drug is back in my veins.
Heroin
baby.
addicts die, right?
Yeah. It was incredible. It was incredible. And and then I came home and I took my clothes off and put them right in the laundry and took a shower. Was the risk of exposure higher than if I'd been at home that night? Absolutely. No question. Do I feel like it was pretty safe? Yeah, I do. I don't feel like ask me in 2 weeks, but right now I don't feel bad about it. And it certainly was a good time. And we had that experience where some people who'd never heard of us fell in love with us and stayed there the whole night and tipped like crazy and made requests. That whole falling in love with an audience thing happened. And it's been.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Obviously, you felt playing that this was just so great to be back. Did you get a vibe that the audience was just I haven't heard someone sing live?
Totally. I had a guy come.
Could have farted in the microphone. They would have been like, "This is amazing."
Oh yeah.
So-
Absolutely. There was a guy who came, and I chatted with him some. He showed up right before we took a break, so right at the end of the first set, and came and sat at a table right. As close to the front as there was, and. He told me at the break, he was there for dinner earlier in the night and then left and came back for some reason and heard us across the parking lot and was like, "Is that live music?
What is this?
I gotta go find out about that." And he came and sat for the whole rest of the night, stayed the whole rest of the night.
That's cool.
Yeah, this place was one of the first ones to start putting music back up, and they had a guy play. The first one back was a week ago Wednesday, and it was a buddy of mine in the scene who's fantastic. And so kind of standing in his boots there where I knew he'd been a week before gave me some juice, and anyway, it was really great. It was really great. Now, I'm still super hesitant about putting the band together. Right. That's still a thing I'm not sure I'm ready for, or that anyone's ready for. And I'm starting to get reached out to about it.
Of course. Yeah. It's over. Let's go. Let's get back to work.
Let it rip, right? And I'm breathing pretty heavy about that. I don't know.
Adam, do you have anything in the immediate future that you're playing?
So a couple of dates have popped up for this weekend, and I kind of threw my hat.
2 days from now.
Yes.
Ooh.
So acoustic things. And I was like, I'll go ahead and throw my hat in the ring. I don't have anything else going on. And so it might be, worth it just to try it out. And like he said, a solo acoustic thing, I feel like the risk is even lower than, doing what Dan was doing because there was another person involved. We did get an email from a date that we have in July that is saying, get us your paperwork. We're cutting the check. This is going down.
Wow.
Which feels weird because
Yep.
like we've been sitting on our hands this entire time. And now I'm like, oh crap. Like I've got work to do.
Yep.
So
Right.
I had to get a notary to come to my house. Luckily there was one in the neighborhood to get the paperwork sent over. So some stuff might be picking back up.
Put a pin
but
in
I'm not
that. I want to
holding
come
my
back to
breath.
that. That was interesting. We'll come back to that. Keep going.
Write it down.
So there was that, and then I picked up a couple holds for some private events in September, and I have a theater date with another band also in September out of state. So I've got 2 out of state gigs potentially in September, and they were going to pay me a couple $100 just to hold the date. So I was like, might as well. You know, worst case is I have to learn a bunch of stuff, but otherwise, yeah, I don't have anything in the immediate future. We're looking at like the end of July, like the 24th of July for like a municipal event. That's the next big, like the band returning kind of situation that we've got. So what do you need to circle back on?
The notary?
Yeah, right? You heard that too, right? Yeah. So you guys get your contracts notarized?
No. So let's talk about this.
Yeah.
So in this case, this is the city of well, it's the city of Monroe. It doesn't really matter. You guys don't live here.
In Monroe.
The city of Monroe,
Yeah.
we are doing a contract with them, and part of it that they needed to do was they needed a W-9, which, is
Sure.
pretty standard.
Yeah.
And now that I'm an LLC, I've got the employee identification number and all that stuff. It's totally legit above board. But they also wanted an E-Verify waiver form because their accounting department, typically does E-Verify, but because I am a sole proprietorship, I have less than 10 employees, they don't need to do E-Verify. But in order to verify that I don't need E-Verify, I have to fill out a form and then have it notarized. Like I had filled the form out. She was like, no, it needs to be notarized. I was like, crap. So
and
went on my
E-Verify,
little-
just so I'm clear, is that, you know what? No. Pull a rap
No,
horn. I'm not
it's
doing
fine.
it.
We're
No,
good.
I'm
It's
not
not
doing it. I'm
important.
not rap horn.
Anywho, having contracts notarized would be like a baller like next step. I was like, even Susan says that.
Yeah, Susan said that
That's
you
right.
were
Yeah,
on.
I am vouched for. It is official.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's that is not a part of our typical operating procedure. But if that's the hoop I need to jump through in order to get paid,
Always.
For it.
Yeah.
tell me how high.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going full band live stream next Saturday.
Sweet.
That will be our first being in the same room since March 1st.
Yeah.
All 4 of us. So that's a little bit. That's at least it feels nice to just do it and then go, okay, like, can we now start thinking about getting back into it? So pretty pumped about that.
Yeah.
So this was one that you had kind of been asking us about a little bit, like what's the route? So can you tell us a little bit about how you guys decided to kind of operate?
Yeah, we've got one of the best production companies ever. Some friends of ours are doing, the minute that this all seemed like reality, they scrambled and made this studio called Des Moines TV, DSM TV, where they were going to be your MTV to like put things out. You know what I mean? And so they have been doing incredible work, like top-notch live streams. But now they're pushing. They want to take this. They don't want this to be a flash in the pan. They want to continue, and they're like, how do we do that? It's sell tickets, and it's exclusive events, and so I was wondering, I asked you guys, I go, okay, do we make this a ticketed only live stream event where you have to pay to get in, or do we go free with sponsors coming in and fitting some of the bill? And we struggle with that for quite a bit, but we decided you still got to make it free. Viewership is already down, if you can't tell. I think it's summer and people aren't really watching live streams anymore. So if you make them pay for it, I don't even know if that's even worth it.
Yeah.
But maybe in the future, I think there'll be these weird combos of a show and a live stream that everyone can do simultaneously. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I do think live streaming in some form is going to persist.
Yeah.
I mean,
now that we're good at it.
Right. I mean, there's some artists. I've been hearing a lot about Twitch and how a lot of people are moving to Twitch, because it's a little less restrictive for things like pre-recorded music and that kind of thing. So a lot of people are going that route. But then you have musicians like, you know, I'm kind of putting myself in the box of the music that I'm into, but like guys like Matt Heafy from Trivium, or like Ronnie Radke, and, you know, guys like that who have these dedicated Twitch followers, and they're actually like, during times when they're not touring, like they're making more money off of Twitch than they're making off of like their band stuff, including royalties and stuff.
Weird, right?
It's crazy. And they're literally just, you know, Matt Heavy is really interesting because literally he just like logs in and he just practices. He's gonna sit there, play guitar, learn his songs,
and people are like,
and get paid.
Money.
Just like throwing them.
It brings back that aspect of how people really do want to see inside of your personal life, and they do want access to you, and they're willing to pay for that. And that's where we're still going to have this, like, somehow, if you can figure out a way to keep going with these broadcasts, it's still something that people will want to see your band do.
Yeah. And it's not a bad thing. You know, what this has just shown is that like we've kind of opened this world up. And that's kind of like the way that I feel about this whole YouTube thing, is that like we have, like, each of us individually have worked so hard to kind of build a name and a reputation for in our city, in our market, in our little like bubble. And then you look at things like Twitch and YouTube and like Facebook, and you're like, there is no bubble.
It's not.
You know?
There's not.
It's crazy.
Yeah, no, geography's done.
You're probably starting to see this, Adam, but our looking into the analytics of things now, Facebook's really good at it. YouTube's really good at it. Our Tennessee whiskey video is going to hit 4 million here. And so I wanted to know how many countries have watched it. Like 110 countries have seen this video more than a couple thousand times. That's crazy. It doesn't happen.
And, you know, for a band, it's one thing, but like as individual artists, like you can really kind of build a crazy, you know, following that gives you more opportunities. Like for me, I love singing. Singing is what I feel like I'm pretty good at. And so, you know, doing the YouTube collaborations gives me the opportunity to sing on more like different projects with different people. Like I never would end up in the same room with Casey Cooper otherwise, but because of, you know, the network that I built, like it just kind of happened. And will it happen again? I'm not sure.
You don't say no to that. You
exactly.
No.
So I think it's still going to be just an ongoing avenue to try out creative things and do more stuff, and hopefully kind of raise awareness. Again, the music being the Trojan horse of the content that we're talking about, which is you know, being talented is important, but like if you don't have these tools, you don't have these resources, you don't have this knowledge and this work ethic, like it doesn't matter how good you are. Because I know plenty of good people who aren't going anywhere.
Right.
And then I know a lot of marginally, you know, talented people like the three of us who have managed to eke something out, you know?
Yeah.
How'd they do that? Hustle.
In my case, I learned how to sing real high.
That is your whole trick.
Basically.
I can't do it.
No, me neither.
Can you do it, Dan?
Nope.
I know you can't do it.
I can sing kind of high.
You're a sultry guy.
I was pretty stoked. Jamie Vandera shared the video.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask him to. I sent it to him and I was like, I'm not saying this is your fault, but Raise Your Voice, which is the book that I bought that was his, came out roughly like 3 months before the Darkness record came out. And those two things kind of just like, I was like, I read the book and then I was like, oh, I can do this. And it was kind of like, so, and we actually had a really cool conversation about that. You know, after the fact, he's like, I don't share stuff, and you didn't ask me to, but I felt compelled to because, you know, it was really good. It rose to the level. So, and I'm not the kind of person to toot my own horn. Dan, I want to call this out because last week you said something very, very nice to me about me, and I just kind of like brushed it aside. I didn't say thank you because it makes me feel uncomfortable, and I'm working on that.
Yeah.
So.
No, it really is good. It really was well done and fun and you know, beyond the quality of the performance, the energy of it and the you know, showmanship alone in the basement. You know, really excellent.
Literally like putting my phone on a tripod.
Totally. No, completely.
Okay, here we go.
Completely. And the thing is, like, would civilians have understood that was what was going on? Maybe not. I mean, that's the quality of it, right? But I was clear, like, that dude's standing in front of a green screen in his basement. I understand what's happening there and how hard it is to get yourself up for that and, like, expressing that way. And it was really good. It was really good.
Yeah, if somebody had walked in on the actual shooting of that, they would have been like, "This is a sad thing. This is very sad. Yeah. We should feel sorry for this person."
It all came out well.
It did.
It all came out in the wash.
On to the next one. Now it's done, and you immediately have to go, what's the next project?
Right.
That's the problem with YouTube is that, like, you can't just keep. Now, the thing that's great about this setup is that we're posting episodes every single week on YouTube. So there's always going to be content there. And then it's just kind of like peppering it in with some stuff. And I've got some fun stuff, like not necessarily covers and not necessarily like business related stuff, but like funny things, you know. So it's going to be kind of ever evolving, and as soon as I got time, I definitely have like some technical stuff I want to talk about. Our buddy Phil Smith, who has been like live streaming his ever loving Face Off.
Yeah.
I caught one, and he's having some technical issues, and because we're nerds about this stuff, I was like, oh, he's using this app, and this app isn't working very well. And I found a couple of new apps, and so I'm probably going to do another live stream kind of tips and tricks kind of conversation at some point in the next week or two.
You guys should do that episode, because then it's maybe okay how to continue live streaming. So it used to be Friday, Saturday nights, like that's your time. Now it's like that's probably not your time anymore. Right. It's probably a Tuesday.
Yeah.
We were talking about Facebook has now become the biggest club in the world, and it's like who's walking into your room.
Yeah.
And on a Friday, Saturday night.
And are you going to be the fifth guy tonight to ask for a tip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know. I might not be. That feels weird.
Yep.
I didn't tell you guys what I did that made me feel really weird during COVID.
Oh, please.
I'm very like, I wear a mask, and I'm still like, this has to be real because much of my livelihood has been ruined. If this is not real, like what happened? So I'm still following guidelines. However, a week and a half ago, I got a tattoo.
Okay.
Right.
I'm like, that was when my appointment was. And she's like, you ready to do it? I opened up 2 days ago. I'm like, let's do it. Right. We both wore masks. And afterwards I go, that was probably a really dumb thing to do. And I still did it.
Yeah.
I mean, tattoo parlors are one of the first things to open up in our state as well. And it's because they have a protocol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like they are, it's clean needles, and you're taking your gloves off every, step of the way. And, adding masks is annoying, but it's not necessarily that much different than the protocols that a good shop is doing. So is it like gross at the moment?
No, everything's
like
feels really good, but every once in a while it'll like tingle, and I'm like, oh, that's the COVID. The COVID's in the ink now.
I don't think that's how that works.
I know. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not a tattooologist.
No, Dr. Fauci.
My St. Louis Blues tattoo. All of a sudden, I woke up and it says COVID-19.
Oh no!
It just
goes no! They got you.
It was actually you bring up a really good point, because tattoo shops really don't have to change their protocol. Just wear masks. That was what was so weird to me about restaurants, is like, we're opening back up and we're going to follow clean guidelines. It's like were you not?
What were you doing before then?
Who was it? There was a pizza place. It was like, and your pizza will be untouched by human hands. I'm like, who's been touching my, this seems wrong.
Who's been touching my pizza?
I do picture the delivery guy just opening up the box and closing it and just going, cool,
breathing
pizza.
on it real hard.
He's like, he's just kind of like wafting. Yeah. Good grief. Yeah, I mean, I picked up an order today from this restaurant, and like, I was the only person who wasn't working there wearing anything.
Yeah.
Know it.
Just like walking around like, and you know what? They're probably going to be fine.
Probably.
Yeah.
The odds are in their favor,
Yeah.
but like, I just don't. No, I'm just not right now.
Someone's gonna have.
I'm still waiting on my freaking Pork Tornadoes beard bandana. I was told it was going to be here within 2 to 3 weeks. That was 2 to 3 weeks ago, Mike. What's going on?
Well, the old COVID is just screwing up manufacturer stuff. You know what I mean?
I mean, on my end, I just needed a bandana that was like, it didn't matter if it had your branding. Perfectly honest, probably would have liked it more if it didn't. But the fact that it was black with pink paisley, like that is choice.
It's a cool
choice.
That's what I wanted.
That's what colors I wear anyway. So yeah, and that's the beauty of it. You don't have to use the logo. We made it so you can make it however you want. It's coming. I promise you. In fact, your little package is already addressed to you, like sitting there open. So that bandana comes, I open it, I throw it in there, and I take it to the post office.
Untouched by human hands.
Untouched by it all arrived.
Yeah, because Mike isn't a person.
Use tongs.
He's a drummer.
Blow my nose into your handkerchief and send it to you.
Perfect.
I'll
put it on eBay.
Collector's item.
Yeah.
All right. Last question from me, and then you guys can talk about how
we're getting close to time here anyway. So
yeah.
Correct. Because of when I first joined you guys, this might be the third or fourth time I've joined you.
Yeah.
I was blown away by the fact that you guys have not met each other in person.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you're like, oh yeah, we'll plan it. Like now that we've gone through this, my mentality is now that we've gone through COVID, now that we're seeing how human rights are still not a thing. Like we're just 2020. I'm praying for super volcano next, but like I'm making it a point to do things that I've just been putting off. So like, I really hope that when this is over, you guys go, fuck yeah, we're going to meet each other. Like you have to make this happen. You have time right now.
It's true.
Got to make it happen.
It's true.
I think Nashville is the magic spot.
Yeah.
It could be. I will tell you this. I have I actually just got word that a friend of mine from high school just moved to Atlanta, and I have 3 or 4 other friends in Atlanta. So a trip to Atlanta is in no way out of the question for me. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I just
hope don't make it like I've got a couple of weeks. If you're even remotely considering, just shoot me.
Heads
up beforehand.
We'll be in touch.
Hey, I'm here.
Just going to turn up at your doorstep. Hi.
July's a rough month. That's all I'm saying.
That's
We
right.
got stuff going on.
I'm going to sleep in the bad basement.
What do you think? How tall do you think each other are? Like, because there's a legitimate questions. Like Dan, I feel like you're really tall, but you might be like 5'3", and I see you in person, like, oh geez, you're taller than that.
I am.
Actually, Adam, you need to guess. You need to guess on each other. How tall is Dan?
I would say, I think 6'1" is a good estimate.
I am 6'1".
Boom.
Well done.
How tall is Adam?
I bet Adam's 6 foot dead.
6'10"?
No,
I'm a little shorter than that.
Okay,
I'm like 5'9", 5'10".
All right.
Okay,
but like respectable.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's judging.
If I worked the pump up, I could probably get there. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing. By the time I get there, you need to grow
get that man bun sticking out.
I mean, it's up there.
Yeah.
There was I went and got my hair cut, and my wife was like, "Oh, you pulling your hair back?" I was like,
you doing that?
I was like, yeah, I mean,
I could practically
do
that.
She's
My hair is long. I'll tell you, in 2001, I cut off a ponytail that was down to my waist.
Whoa!
Yeah. And this right now is the longest my hair has been since then. So,
wow.
Yeah.
I say go for it.
My hair kind of grows.
What to do?
My hair grows out. So when my hair's long, it's
absolutely.
Like out.
No, I'm Ronald McDonald before I'm anything else. Totally.
So I went ahead and did. I literally got the dirtbag skater haircut that I always wanted in 7th grade.
Time, just go for it.
Sweet.
So short on the sides. It's just kind of nice because before I was like having to like blow it dry and like put stuff in it, whatever. Now it's like screw that, just pull it back when it's wet and just leave it.
Yeah.
So I'm happy.
Give us a side profile. I got to see this.
It's not. I mean,
you got the Tony Miola.
Nice.
Like, do you remember Tony Miola? Or you're too young? He was a U.S. soccer goalie.
Are we guys too young? He might.
He was the one that started the shave sides, pull it all the way back in a ponytail.
Yeah. There's apparently some show on Netflix. It's like a British show about like feudal era England, and like there's a guy with a haircut like this, except he's got like kind of like dreadlock mullets in the back. Yep. And my brother says like, "Oh, you look like Sebeda from Badaba," and I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Watch this show." I haven't watched it yet.
I really want his name to actually be Sebeda and the show to actually be Badaba. I really want that.
Badaba? Yeah.
Sebeda from Badaba. I really want that to be actually the thing, but I don't think it is.
I've got a terrible memory. What can I say?
I know. It's all good.
Sing it to me, and I'll sing it back to you. But otherwise, it's not happening.
Yeah.
This was the conversation I did not know I needed.
We needed to have this. We really did.
Anytime there's a giant thing that the whole world's talking about, we do a distraction.
Anytime.
It's real good.
Massive.
Hey guys, Mike's here. The sky's on fire.
Yeah, don't worry. It's
we only have 5 minutes to talk about it, and then we move on.
Super volcano plus aliens landed. Let's bring Mike on.
I'm cutting all our heads on today. What do you think about it, Mike?
Yeah. For 5 minutes, and then
only 5 minutes. And then like, what's your favorite Back to the Future?
That's right. 2. Anyway, no,
it's the first.
The first one, obviously. I'm
You said
kidding. I'm clearly kidding, and I never.
It's not the third one.
It's not the third one. Oh God!
Now hold on. I rewatched all 3 like I have many times in my life, and the third one gets a bad rap. It's actually very good and pulls a lot of things from 1 and 2 in together.
That's true.
What was Marty McFly's character's name in 3?
Get back to it. We were. Oh my God!
I'm going to keep saying some curious. So his guy, but that lived in the Old West
wasn't it Clint Eastwood?
Well, okay, yes, but I'm talking about the guy that was already from the Old West. He came from Ireland. He had an Ireland accent.
Yeah.
He was a McFly, but he had his first name was Seamus.
Seamus McFly.
Seamus McFly.
And what was Marty's
Biff Tannen's name in the Old West? Buford Mad Dog Tannen.
Nice. And what was the name of Marty's uncle who was always in jail?
Yeah, that was the one I was trying
Uncle
to ask
Joey.
you. Yeah, Jailbird Joey.
Jailbird Joey.
Yep.
Oh my God.
And then there was and then the kids that Doc Brown had, what is her name?
The kids?
Academy Award winner. Something.
Doc Brown had kids?
Yes, with
third-
Academy Award
yeah.
winner.
No,
Jules and Myrrh.
Jules and Myrrh.
Mary Elizabeth Master Antonio.
Is that who it was?
No.
What was the name of his wife?
Was it Mary Steenburgen?
Yes, I think it was.
What was her name?
I have met her.
Really?
Yes. So in Atlanta, they do a lot of movies.
Yeah.
They shoot a lot of movies, and she was in town. And me and my wife were out at dinner, and Mary Steenburgen was like right over our shoulder, and I was like,
"Oh my God!"
And she looked amazing.
She does.
Like,
she's an attractive old bra.
She was an attractive, yes, but it was like, sometimes you see somebody in person and like you were saying, oh, they're kind of short or whatever.
Wow.
Like, no, like this was like a step up. This was like an enhancement of the.
Wow.
I was like, oh my God.
Last Back to the Future
is
question:
gorgeous.
What was her character's name?
I don't remember. Mary
Clara
Steenburgen.
Clayton.
Clara
Clayton Ravine.
I just remember her being the mom in Step Brothers.
Yeah, that was really good.
Mostly, I enjoyed her in Last Man on Earth.
Was she good in that?
Yeah, she was great in that.
She was also an Elf.
Yes,
Yep.
great in that too.
Good mom and Elf.
Yeah, very solid
Fantastic.
mom. And like a
So,
bro, like,
tune
oh,
in
you got
next
this
week
son
for
from
our
some
Mary
random.
Steenburgen
Totally, it's all Mary
podcast.
Steenburgen all the time. Here's what I love about Mary Steenburgen and Elf is like, oh, my husband has a son from years ago. Right on, bring him in. Oh, cool. Like that's. I mean, she's a bro. I like that about her. That's good.
No doubt.
Then he turns out to be a crazy elf man, and she's into that too.
She's into that too.
All good.
She can't sing. It was a beautiful. It was a beautiful moment.
It was.
That is pretty good.
Guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules. I'm kidding. For being here. Thank you all for tuning in. Any of you who hopped in during the live stream, we definitely appreciate it. I will let Dan do all of the promotional cross-promoting doodly-doos.
It's all pre-recorded.
So be safe, be good to one another, and hoping that we all get the chance to get on stage very, very soon.
Yep.
But I will go ahead and call it from this week. From Atlanta, Georgia, I am Adam Johnson.
From Greensboro, North Carolina, Dan Ray.
Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Mike Schulte.
There he is.
I always wanted to say that.
There he is.
You have been listening to the Cover Band Confidential Podcast, episode 106, I think.
Yeah.
106? 106! Have a great week, guys.
Thank you so much for tuning into our podcast. If you want to help us, be sure to share us with your friends, follow us on social media, and if you haven't already, please leave a review for us on the podcast platform of your choice. Facebook.com/CoverbandConfidential, Instagram @CoverbandConfidential, and Twitter @CoverbandConfid. If you have any questions, please email us at coverbandconfidential@gmail.com and consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/CoverbandConfidential. And for more info, check out www.coverbandconfidential.com.